Welcome back everyone to the series of employee management system using MERN stack. This is the second part. In our first part, we have explained you the demo. We showed you the demo that what we are going to build in this series of employee management system. And also in the first part, we created our React and Node.js projects. After creating the projects, we installed all the packages and libraries in our React and Node.js the projects. So now in this second part, we will implement a secure authentication system, login system. To first of all, we will just register admin, then we will create the login system for employee and admin. After that, we will implement the verification of user. Whenever a user would like to access our application through browser, so we will verify first of all the user. If the user was an authenticated user, so he will move to his, based on his role, to his parts. Like if that was admin, so it will move to the admin. If that was employee, so it will move to the employee parts, to the employee user interface. So this is the second part. In this part, we will implement the authentication system, a secure authentication system for our employee management system. So let's start. To start, in the first part, we have created our project and we run both our front-end and Node.js projects. So let's move to, this is our default app, that we have created in the previous video. So now we will add the authentication system to our projects. So first of all, let's change this title. So to change the title, come here to the front end, to the index.html, change this title to EMS. So let's close it. Now what we need to do, the first thing is that we will register admin. For our system, we would like to register an admin. We have an admin for our entire system. So for that, come here to the VS Code editor. Let's come here to the server side. In the server side, I will create a model for user. For the user, I will create a model. So let's come here to the server folder. Inside that, I will create a folder. Inside this folder name is models. Inside this models, I will create user model, user.js. Now inside this user, the user has the properties of like name, email, password, role, and profile image. So let's insert these properties to the user. So let's first of all import Mongoose. After importing that, const user schema. This is the schema for user, new Mongoose dot schema. Inside this schema, I will just define all the properties that a user has. Like the first thing is name. So the name is, the type of name is a string, and this is required true. The second thing is, the second property is email, type string, required true. The third property is, let's just come here and add that, which is password, type string and required true. The fourth property is role, type string. The type of role is string, but here we will specify that the role should be admin and employee. We have these two roles, so we will write enum. And inside this enum, we will just define that is an array. The first thing is admin. We have admin role and we have employee role. That's it. And after that, required to. Down from that, from role, we need to now the fifth one. The fifth property is profile image. Type string, and this is optional. And let's add create at, type is date, and default value for this one is date.now. Let's duplicate it, shift alt down arrow key to duplicate it, and the last property is updated at. default the date dot now. So this is the schema for our user. Now just come here and we will create a model and export that. Const user model is equal to mongoose dot model. In model, first of all, we will define the name of our model, which is user. And the second thing is our user schema. Second argument. Now let's export it. Export default user. That's it. This is the model of user that we created. So after creating the model, now let's close it. The second thing is now to register a user. So to register a user, we don't need the registration page from the front end, because we would like to just register the admin once. Okay, so whenever we want to add an admin, so I will create a file, seed file, and I will run that file. So let's create a file inside the server folder. I will name it user seed or seed file. Okay, user seed.js. Inside this user seed file, I will just create a function const user register is equal to, let's make it asynchronous function, and down from that, now let's wrap the code inside try catch block. If there was any error, so just console that error to me. Now let's create a user. So to create a user, for that, this is a default, okay, that we are creating by our own. So for that, let's, for example, const a new user is equal to, we will import new user. We will import user model also. Okay, import user from model slash user.js. Let's use it. New user. In this user, we will define the properties. The first one is name. So we will define the name as admin. The name is admin. And the second thing, email. Yeah, the email. The email is admin@gmail.com. The third thing is password. So we need to hash the password. So to hash the password, for that I will just define here const hash, because we should store a hashed type of password. We will change our password to hash. So equal to with bcrypt. So let's import bcrypt. Also bcrypt is used to change our password. Import bcrypt from bcrypt. Let's write here await bcrypt dot hash. So the first thing is our password. So our password is admin. You will manually type that, and the salt rounds. The salt rounds, for example, 10. This is a string or number that you can define. This means this salt that it is generating a unique character. I will just write 10 inside that, and now instead of this password, to this password I will pass hashed password. Down from that, the fourth property was role. The role is admin. I will just add these four properties. Okay, come here to the user model. Name, email, password, and role. Profile images, that is optional. I will add that profile image for employees. So now let's save the user. Const await new user dot save. Call save method. That's it. Save that, and let's call this function user register. But before calling this function, let's first of all create connection with database also. We would like to create connection with our MongoDB database, as we discussed in the first video, in the first part. For the connection, let's create a folder. I will create it DB. I will name it DB. Inside that, I will create db.js. db.js, and let's import mongoose. From mongoose, let's create a function const connect to database This is a function, asynchronous function. And inside this function, let's wrap our code through try catch block. Console.log error. Just come here and create connection with MongoDB database. So to create connection with MongoDB database, let's use await mongos dot connect. We will call connect method, and we will pass our URL now to this function. The URL is, so we will store our URL inside .env file. So come here, mongo, let's simply write like mongodb URL is equal to, so let's copy the URL of our MongoDB compass to create connection with that. Open MongoDB compass. I showed you in the first part that you can create connection with your first with DB Atlas also, and you can create connection with MongoDB, a community server I have installed in my PC. With this one also, copy connection string. So after copying the connection string, paste that here. That's it. So where now I will specify the database also. So I would like to create a new database, and I will name to that database EMS. Okay, simple EMS is the name of database. So it will create EMS database also for us. Now let's use this one. So just come here, and here I will write process.env.mongodb URL. That's it. So this was the connection with MongoDB database. Let's export it. Connect to database. Now let's import it inside this user seed file. Connect to database. After importing that, now let's call that function here. Okay, just come here, and I would like to call the function here. Now let's run this user seed file. Come here to the MongoDB. Here we don't have, okay, look at, we don't have the EMS database right now. So let's now run that file. Just come here and to the terminal, and let's take a new terminal, cd server, and to run that file I will write node. After that, to access, okay, as I showed you in the first video, in the package.json file I have added this string. Look at this, means that whenever you write this with this, so it means that now we can access these environment variables, .env files variables. So I will write node, then this string, it means that we can access the files, the .env variables inside this connection that we have created in the database. And after that, user seed.js, simply like that, press enter. So let's check what happened. It means there is no error, so let's refresh it. Okay, let's refresh this database. Let's come here, and I would like to just refresh database. Look at EMS database has been created. Let's open it. We have users collection. Okay, to the tables in MongoDB, we call them collections. Users, we have the first record, the user admin@gmail.com, and this is the password, the role is admin. This was the database registration that we registered manually. So let's close it now, because we are registering user once, the admin. Then admin will create employees, create accounts for the employees. Then admin will assign and pass those accounts to the employees. Employees can log in through those accounts. So let's close it. So after that, now let's move to the front end. Okay, now we will implement our login authentication, login functionality. So let's close it, and also close it. Let's move to the front end. In the front end, what we need, first of all, we need to just create a React router DOM, use React router to navigate through different pages like admin dashboard and employee and login. So for that, come here to the src app.jsx. Here I will implement route import browser router routes and route is from React router DOM. That's it. So after importing these, now let's use them. Instead of this, inside this we will just define routes. Inside routes, now I will just specify the route. Okay, the specific route. The first route is path is equal to slash to our main domain, to our main website, and element is so where it should move. So we don't have home page, so I will directly, whenever we just it means write the URL of our website in a browser, so I will navigate it to the admin dashboard. So let's import navigate from React router DOM. After importing that, now let's use it. /admin dashboard. It should be like that. Let's close it. So let's create the second route for login. So /login, and instead of this I will call now login. So we don't have login, let's create the login page. Save that RAFCE. Okay, it will create automatically the component for you. Let's import the login. That has been imported. That's it. Let's create admin dashboard path also. And let's create a page for that. That's it. So we have these three routes right now: the home page, the login, and the admin dashboard. So let's move now to the login. Okay, let's move now to the login. The first thing is that login design. Okay, we will design the login. So let's write here login. So it means that we can't access login. Let's check where is the problem. Close this one and come here. Browser, this is browser router, not browser router. That's it. Yeah, this is the login component. Now let's design our login component as we have here. Okay, we will design it like here. So let's, first of all, we need this font. Okay, this font we would like to use Google fonts to just write the text like this. So far to use font, yeah, before that let's first of all design it. Okay, then I will use the font. Come here to the login. H2 login employee management system. Inside this forum we have email part and password part. Input type email, placeholder enter email, and copy this, paste it here. This is our password. Or we can write instead of this like this: type password, and down from this we will have a button. Button is for login, and just like let's write here the login. That's it. So let's check it now. Let's come here. So just come here to the image. So it looks like this. Now I will add the Tailwind CSS classes to design it. Okay, it should looks like this. I will add the classes. The reason that I am pausing video per class is because it will increase the length of video. So I will pause. I will add the classes. Those are just Tailwind CSS classes. If you don't know, so I will later I will explain you. Okay, which classes I am using inside these elements. I will explain you. Okay, so let's pause video for classes. So let's go through the login page. So look at, I have added this class name to the parent div element. First of all, flex column. Flex means to make them to the row, and column means to back change that will be a column type. It means it will not inline, it will be blocks. Okay, the type of these will be blocks. These will vertically and horizontally bring the elements to the center of this div element. Edge screen means it will, the height of the screen would be like the total screen, and this is for the background color. Look at, so this 50% green and 50% white. So this is the these are the classes. Look at, these are the classes. Space Y, it means the space between these elements will be 6 rem. And apply management system, this is font civilian. We will use this font. And the border shadow, this is for forum. This is forum. Okay, I have added this div element, then h2 login. After that forum, this is label. For a label these classes, just gray, text color gray, and margin bottom 4, width full up input field, enter email, border py, padding top and bottom, and padding left and right. Also these are the same, and I have added this part. Okay, look at, I have just added this part. It means that I have added these. Okay, remember me and forgot password. That is nothing else, just HTML code. Look at, we have the input field for checkbox, then remember me, then link. Okay, forgot password, nothing else. And after that, login button. This is login button. So this was the code of login page design. Now let's add this font. Okay, and we would like to add this font from Google. So let's search for Google fonts. So let's find the font, which one we would like to use. Come down here, a lot of, there were the top, there was one. So let's use this one. Okay, I would like to use this one. Just click on that, get font, and just come here, get embedded code, and after that copy these links. Okay, copy these links and come here now to the Tailwind, to the index.html file, index.html, and copy those links inside the head. Okay, the head element, paste them. So after pasting them, the font family is, just come here, the font family is specific code. Okay, this is font family. Copy that and just come here now to the tailwind.config.js, to the theme, to the extend. Here I will add font family, and here I will add the name. The name is specific. Just simply like I will add the specific. Specific code. If it was not working, then we will use sans serif. That's it. Now let's use this specific one, comma, come here to the login, to the employee management system, font specific. Save that. Let's check it now. So look at, that has been changed, employee management system. So this was the font. So after creating that, now let's create two state variable. So whenever we write data inside this input fields. In the email, in the password, we will store the data somewhere. So for that, just come here, let's create const, first of all, email, set email, the default value is empty string, the second one is password, set password. Come here to the input field and just come here on change. We will call on change event, and we will just call create an arrow function, and we will call set email here, and we will pass e.target dot value. Whatever we are writing, store that inside the set email. Set email will store the value inside the email. This set email is a method, and the email is a variable that we are using. And let's copy this for the password also. Set password. That's it. So after storing the value, whenever we press this login, okay, submit button, so we will call a function. So for that, come here to the forum element, and here call on submit event, and call here handle submit this function. Let's create now that function. e.prevent default. Whenever you are calling the submit function, you should call this function event. Okay, the event that you are passing prevent the default function. It means that it will just prevent the default submission of forum. If you don't write this, so you will face with errors. Just come here down. So now we will call our API. Okay, the API in the server side, we will call that API, and we will pass data to that, and we will just verify the user credentials. So we will use ArcGIS library now to pass our data to the server side. So let's first of all change this to asynchronous function, and down from that, let's use try catch block, and catch block if there was an error, so just console.log error. I will handle the error later, but for now I will just display the error in console. Let's const response is equal to ArcGIS library await ArcGIS dot post. I will post data to the URL. Okay, where we can get the URL. So the URL is localhost, because we are working on localhost, http://localhost. After that, the port number. The port number we have used in our server side is 5000. I will show to you. The port number is 5000. So I will use this port number. Slash to which route we would like to move, which route we want to call in server side. So we will move to API/auth/login. We will call this route in server side, comma, we will pass our data, email, password. So after passing our data, yeah, that is okay. Now with data, we would like to pass our, we don't need token right now to pass. Okay, we doesn't have that. Just come here down, and I will console.log the response. I will just display the response on console. That's it. Okay, now let's move to the server side, and we would like to access the data from this route, from this URL, and we will verify the data. Let's move to the server side. Let's close it, close this one, close this one also. First of all, we need just come here to create a route. So to create a route, so for that we will just simply create a folder, routes. I will name it routes. Inside this routes, let's create auth route, auth.js. This is for authentication. So inside this, let's create first of all import express from express. Let's create an instance of router. Const router is equal to express.router. So after creating that, now here to this route, we will use this route.post, because we would like to use the post method. And the path is, so I will simply write here login, comma, Here I will just call a function app controller. Okay, so to call right now we don't have any function, so let's create a folder for controllers. Inside controller I will create auth controller. .js, and here I will create a function const login. You will get request and response. Let's export it. Login. Now I will import the login from that controller. Is that so? Let's add .js. So we have imported login. So whenever we come to this route, so it will call this login function inside auth controller. Let's export now this router. Let's change this to router. Now let's import this router. Okay, this router inside the, just come here to the index.js file. Auth router, I will name it auth router from /routes/auth.js. Now let's use it. So to use this route, I will add app.use. Here I will add first of all API/auth, comma, auth router. That's it. How to use the route? This was the usage of route. First of all, we created our router inside the auth.js file. After that, we exported and we imported and we use that here. Okay, we use that like here. This is the prefix route. Okay, the API/auth, then in auth controller login. It means for all functions which are inside this login, all routes which are inside this will have a prefix of API/auth. Okay, it have all the routes will have the prefix of API/auth. So now inside this auth controller, now let's verify the user credentials. So to verify the user credentials, for that is an asynchronous function. Let's use try catch block. Come here. First of all, we will just extract the data from our request. Const email, comma, password. Is equal to with request dot body. After extracting that, now let's use the email to find a user. Const user is equal to await user. We will just import user. So let's import user. .js user dot find one based on email. So now let's down from that right, if not user, if the user was not existed, it means the email we passed, we check that email. If that email was not existed in our database, so we will return a response dot status 404. It means not found dot JSON success false and error user not exists, user not found. That's it. Now if the user was existed, then I will verify the password of that. Okay, so to verify the password, for that, const is match is equal to await bcrypt. Let's import the bcrypt to verify the password. Dot compare. So first of all, I will just pass this password, comma, after that user dot password. This is the password that we passed, and this is the password, the encrypted password of user. If not match, if not is match, If the password didn't match, so then again we will return an error which says false and password not match, or I can simply return a wrong password. That's it. If the password matched, so after that, down from that, now here I will just generate a token. So we validated the email if the user was existed based on that email and the password was okay. So then we will generate a token. We will use JWT to generate a token for the sessions. Const token is equal to JWT. So let's import JWT. From JSON Web Token, and here I will use that JWT.sign method. First of all, the payload is the data that we will store inside our this token that we are generating. So I will store the user ID, so I will pass user./id, and also the role of user.role. This is the payload of our. Then the secret key, so our secret key is inside .env file. So to access that, for thus I will simply write process.env gw. Let's just write our secret key inside that. JWT key is equal to JWT secret key this should be a secret key that no one should know about this. Okay, only you should know about this. At least it should be 32 character. Now let's access it. Okay, process.env.gwt secret key, comma, after that the expire. Okay, when it this token should expire, it should expire, for example, after 10 days. After 10 days this token will not work, then again you should log into the system. So after generating the token, now let's return the response. Response.status 208.json success true, and we can also return a message. Message is that success, or simply just success true. And after that we will return token and also user. So before returning the user, so let's return user id, user.id, role, name, user.name, and role. So I will just explain it to you. In response, I will return to the front end these properties. First of all, success okay, token, and also user. User will contain the user ID, the username, and the user role. So I will return these properties to the front end. Now let's come here to the I console. Okay, the response. Let's now check it. Okay, what we are getting in the response. Just come here, and we are in the AMS. Let's now write our admin at gmail.com and the password admin. So let's move to the console. What we are getting from the server side, press login button. Yeah, press login button. Nothing happened. So let's check it, the server side, if there was any error. So operation users.find one. So just come here, auth controller user.find one based on email, that is okay. no response. Just come here to the front end, handle submit, access.post, API auth login. See that is working, but the error is in the server side. Okay, in server side operation buffering timeout after 10,000. So let's close this and save that. So yeah, the problem is that we didn't call the connection, okay, to create connection with database. So let's call the connection method here. We should call that, just come here, let's import that, connect to database, import connect. That is okay. Okay, that is okay. Now let's insert admin at gmail.com. Move on to admin. The password is admin. So let's press login. So look at, we received the data. Let's check the data. Success true and token and the user ID and also these properties that we return from the server side. Okay, it means that we successfully log into the system. Now if we insert the wrong email, okay, for example like this login, so there is an error. So how to handle this error and display the error on the top? So for that, simply just come here and let's move to auth controller. Here instead of error.console, I will return response.status 500.json. I will just return success, false, and error.message. Simple like this. So let's move now to the login page, and here I will create a state variable, const error set error use state, default value is empty, and just come the default value is null. Let's display the error here down from the login. So here I will just write error. If the error was existed, so then display the error like error and assign class name text read 500. And also to store error inside this variable, so for that just come here. Here I will write if response dot data dot success. If that was success, so then alert success login. If there was an error, so how to handle that? For that I will write if error if response, if here simply I will just write like so let's move how the error looks like. Come here. So the error should looks like error dot response dot data. Yes, error dot response, if error dot response and error dot response dot data dot success not. So here I will simply call set error I will pass instead of success, I will pass error that we returned. Else set error server error. Let's try it now. Just let's close it. Let's refresh it. Now let's write the email at gmail.com, for example. Let's press insert. Look at user not found. So let's write, for example, correct email. That the correct email is admin, and let's press login now. So admin, look at server error. It means there is a server error. So the password was empty. So we should add the required field to the password. Come here to the login. Here we will add the required field. That's it. Let's press now login. Look at required field. So let's insert password, the wrong password. Let's press login button. So we should there is a server error. I didn't handle just the error, so let's that is okay. Let's try it now. So wrong password. Okay, that means that we faced with error, wrong password. So now let's insert the correct password, login. Press login, server error. Again we faced with server error, but the password is, I think, correct. Admin F12, connection refused. Let's just refresh it once. Yeah, we should refresh that. So after refreshing, now let's try it. Okay, the password is okay. Press login. So look at successfully login to the system. So that is okay. We successfully, so after successful login, what we need to do, we would like to just store the user information. It means for the state management, we would like to store the user information, to access the user information from all the components. Okay, it means for the state management, I will use context API. So let's now create AuthContext file. Just come here to the front end, and I will create a new folder inside src. I will name it context. Inside the context, I will create a file called context.jsx. Inside AuthContext, I will handle the user information, okay, through which whatever I am storing inside AuthContext. So I will access all those information through all the components. How many components I have in my project, so I will access this information. So let's first of all write RAXE. Inside this AuthContext, I will have the user information. Default value is null. And I will have a login function. Because whenever I log into the system, I will call this login to store information inside this user variable. That's it. So here, what else I should have? I have a logout function. Console logout is equal to, inside the logout function, I will call whenever I press from every place. So I will call the logout function to log out user from the system. Inside this AuthContext, what we need to have, so here we will have, first of all, create a context. Okay, so let's write like this. We will create a context. Const user context is equal to, I will use create context for that. So I have created the context. Now I will use this user context. Let's write like this. Okay, user context. So this user context, I will user context dot provider. Okay, sorry, dot provider, and I will pass value. The value would be user login logout. That's it. Let's write here the comma. this I created a context using context API. Okay, the context API, I have used this create context hook, and I created a context. Then I use the context dot provider, and I passed this value user login and logout values. Now whatever is inside this provider, so all those components can access these three values like user, login, and logout. So now inside this context provider, I will pass the children. Okay, whatever I am passing to this component from main. So let's also distract these children at the top in this component. So we will pass these children from main.js file. Just come here to the main. So here I will use the AuthContext. So let's import first of all AuthContext. After importing that, now let's wrap our app.jsx through that. AuthContext. That's it. So after wrapping, it means that app will be passed as a children to AuthContext. After passing that, that will be inside this user context dot provider. So now whenever I would like to access these values, look at these values. So I will use this user context. So it means like this. For example, in login, I would like to access those values. I should write like this. Const, for example, user use context AuthContext. I should import AuthContext also. I think the name was user context or user context. User context. It means that I should write like this, but instead of writing this in every component, I will use, let's first of all remove this. I will use that and export that from this AuthContext provider like this. Okay, just come here, const AuthContext use auth. Sorry, okay, I will name it use auth is equal to, I will create a function and I will pass use context to this, and I will pass user context. That's it. It means now we can access all these values, user, login, and logout through this use auth. Let's export it. Now let's first of all access the login. So whenever we log into the system, I will call this login function. Let's move to login. Const. I will just call like login. I will access login is equal to use auth. Look at use auth. So I will access login. Let's call now login. App response.data.success. If we successfully log in, so what we need to do? So we need first of all to store our token inside local storage. Okay, for the future, okay, accessing our admin dashboard or logging to the system. So to store the token, we can store in cookies also. In server side, we can store that in cookie, or here we can store that in cookie, or we can store in local storage. The best way is okay to store that inside cookies, but here in this project I will store inside. Okay, that is okay to store inside the local storage also. So let's store that inside the local storage. Before storing that, let's call login function, and I will pass to login function response.data.user. Here let's now pass local storage dot set item token comma response.data.token that I have received. So after storing token inside the local storage, now we will check app response.data.user.role was equal to with admin. So it should move to the admin dashboard route. So for that we need to use navigate. Const navigate is equal to use navigate hook from React outer DOM. Let's use navigate to change the route. Navigate / admin dashboard. Else it will navigate to employee dashboard. So that is it. So whenever we call this login function, so let's move back to AuthContext. In login function, what we need to do, we will receive user. We will pass the user to this login. So let's receive user here and set user. I will pass user to that. That's it. Now in logout, whenever we call logout function, so far in that logout, simply we will just write like set user back to null and local storage dot remove item slash token, like that, remove token from local storage. So this was the implementation that we did, and we store the user inside this user and we access that. So now let's create employee. I think we don't have employee dashboard. Admin dashboard, let's create employee dashboard also. Create a route for employee dashboard. That's it. Now let's come here to the employee. Whenever we log in as admin, move to the admin dashboard, and here I will print the name of the user. So to access the user, const user is equal to use auth. I will use auth, and I will print the username like this. That's it. So there is an error inside the login. So let's check the error. It says login of use auth as it is undefined. So it means that we cannot distract the smooth to login. Cannot distract the login here. Yeah, the login was undefined. The reason for that is that we should change this name to capital. AuthContext. Okay, that should be capital, the component. So now it will work. Let's save it and let's come here now. Yeah, the login is working now. So now let's, for example, login as admin at gmail.com, and here we will write admin. Let's login. So we successfully moved to the employee dashboard. Look at, we have the employee dashboard right now. We moved to employee dashboard. It means that we didn't receive the admin dashboard. It means we should move to the admin dashboard. Let's come here back to the login, and we will check that here. App data.user.role was equal to with admin. We should move to the admin dashboard, else navigate to employee dashboard. So let's just come here to the role was admin. So let's console it. Okay, simply we will check that inside console response data.user. So look at, we the role is admin, but why we went directly to the, so it means that is the type error. So let's make it app response.data.user.role was equal to with, oh sorry, that was the spelling mistake. Okay, amdin, I have written amdin, that is admin, simply like this. Let's go back. So look at admin dashboard, admin. I have displayed the username also, which is admin, and the admin dashboard. That's it. We directly move now to the admin dashboard. Let's remove this console. So now let's verify user. For example, let's move to Microsoft Edge, and here I write. So I can directly move to the admin dashboard. So just come here and let's open the Chrome, that is 74. Let's copy, Control-A, Control-C, and come here to the Microsoft Edge. So I move to the admin dashboard. So now if the user is not authenticated, he should not access the admin dashboard. Okay, The user should not access the admin dashboard. Now in the admin dashboard, just come here and here I will write if user so look at, we directly access the admin dashboard because we are not logged into the system, so we access the admin dashboard. So it means that we should verify whoever want to access our application. So first of all, we will verify the user. Is it employee? Is it admin? Is it authenticated or not? Is it already logged in or not to the system? Okay, so we should even, if we come here to the Chrome, so for example, I would like to now access. So I should move directly to the admin dashboard and I should see my information here, like my name, because I am already logged into the system. Okay, so for that it means to verify the users. For the verification of the user, so for that let's come here and we will move to AuthContext, and here we will use use effect hook. Inside this use effect hook, we will just call our server side and we will verify the user. So simply let's write const response. We will create a function, okay, const fetch verify user. Asynchronous function. Inside this function, let's simply write like a const response. We will use try catch block. If there was an error, we will handle that as we have handled that inside this one. Okay. So now let's remove it. We will just console the error. What is the problem? Just come here, and here I will write const response is equal to await keyword and axios dot get slash http localhost port number 5000 slash api slash auth slash verify. So app response data dot success. If that was success, so then we will move and verify. It means that the user is authenticated. So for the success, we will just update our user set user. We will pass response dot data dot user, and if there was an error, if error dot response and not error dot response dot data dot error. So we will simply, what we need to do, we will just navigate user back to the login page. It means that he should move back to the login page. So for that, let's create an instance of navigate. Login. Now let's move to this route to create this route. Let's call this function also fetch verify user. Let's move now to the server side back. So here I will create a new route which is verify, and here I will call a middleware. Okay, So here I will first of all, before calling the controller, let's create a middleware. Okay, to check the verification of user, then we will call a function. So let's create the middleware. So to create the middleware, let's come here back to the server side app and create a folder and name it middleware. Inside this, create a auth middleware. .js. So inside this middleware, we will now verify the user. So let's create a function const verify user is equal to async function. Inside this function, let's wrap it inside try catch block. So first of all, we will check the token. Okay, the token that we have stored inside local storage, we will check that token. We will access that token. So first we need to pass that token from front end. Okay, from this AuthContext. So to pass token from for that, let's pass that token in headers. Authorization. And here we will pass the token bearer. Bearer, it means that the server side will consider it as authorization. It means the token or security purpose, just prefix bearer before that. And now here we will just write our token. Okay, we will pass our token. The token is stored inside local storage. Simply just let's write, let's just come here, const is equal to local storage dot get item slash token. If token was existed, so then run this code. Else, if the token was not existed, again navigate to login page. And here we will pass bearer the token. That's it. Now come here back to the middleware, and here first of all we will get the token is equal to with the request in response and next we will call the next whenever we successfully verify the user. So token is equal to with request dot split based on space one. I will explain it to you, don't worry. So it means that just read the token from authorization dot split. Look at, come here to the login. Whenever we pass the token, so we will split based on this space, and then we will take this token, the first one. Look at, split that authorization based on space, then read the first in that array, take the first element and store that inside the token. Now if not token, if the token was not existed, so then return response dot status like 404 token not found dot JSON success false, error, token not provided. That's it. But if the token was available, so then we will check the token is okay or not. Is it a valid token or not? So for that we will use JWT. So let's import JWT. Const decoded is equal to JWT dot verify. So first of all our token, then our process dot env dot JWT secret key. .env file, JWT key. That's okay. So it will verify it. If it's successfully verified, let's write here if not decoded. If that was wrong, it means if the token was wrong. So again, we will return this error. Not valid. But if the decoded was valid, so then we will read the user. Const user is equal to await user. We should import user. Let's see, that has been imported. User.js dot find by ID decoded dot ID. I have stored the value inside the payload of this token. Okay, whenever we were just generating token, so I have stored the value there. Okay, I stored the ID inside that. So just read the find by ID dot select minus password. Without password, select all the values. If not user, if the user was not existed, again return error user not found. Else, if everything was okay, so then request dot user is equal to with user and next. So next will move us back to the okay, wherever we call the auth middleware. It means it will continue the operation. And here, if the token was not available, if there was any error, so I will return an error. Server side error. That's it. Now let's go back where we should call this auth middleware. Come here to the auth, and here we will call that auth middleware. So let's import it. I think we didn't export that. Yeah, let's export it. And after that, I will call a method, okay, verify method. So let's create this verify method inside the auth controller. Request.user. I attach user inside this. I read this user from request because I attach that inside this auth middleware. Simply I return the user. So let's now export this verify and import it inside auth. Okay, just let's import it. That's okay. Now let's check it. Okay, let's go back, and here I would like to refresh it. So let's we faced with an error. Use navigate may be used only in the context. Yeah, it means that we cannot use the navigate inside AuthContext. We cannot use navigate here. Simply write here set user to null, and also here set user to null. So now whenever we move to admin dashboard, let's move to admin dashboard. So here I will check if not user, if the user was not existed. So what we need to do, slash back to login. If the user was not existed, so move it back to the login. So that is okay. Just come here. Where else I used that AuthContext? Let's remove it. So we come directly to the admin dashboard again. So why? The reason for that is you should call admin dashboard. Just come here to the admin dashboard. To the AuthContext, I will create a loading state variable. By default, that is true. And whenever I call this function, so at the finally, I will add a finally block. It will run at the last, and I will just call that set loading to false. Let's export it also. Let's write that also loading. I would like to import loading in admin dashboard. If loading return, that's it. If that was in loading stage, the loading was true, so then return loading. Otherwise, then check user. If the user was not existed, move it back to the login. Look at directly move back to the login. Let's again write admin dashboard. We directly move to the login page. So that's how we can use, okay, to verify a user. Even just let's come here, back here. So we directly come here. Let's log in. .com login. Okay, we access the admin dashboard. Now let's access in a new tab. So we should move directly back to the dashboard because we are already logged in. So for that, let's move. Set loading. So right now for this part, that is okay, that we have access just unauthorized users, like he cannot access the admin dashboard who are not logged in. Here move directly to the login page, but the error, okay, that we are facing, that we should, the one who is logged in already, he should move directly to the admin dashboard. So for that, I will create in the next part, we will just create private routes and also role-based routes. So we will create two components, private routes and role-based routes. So then we will handle this error there, and then we will go ahead to move to the dashboard. So this was the second part that we has completed our authentication, and We have registered first of all admin, then we have completed the login functionality, and at the last we have verified the user. So it was the second part. So be sure to watch the other parts also. So thanks for watching these parts.